Good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to those of you that have joined. It looks like we're live. I'm going to wait for a thumbs up from somebody so that we know that we are. Thank you so much for joining me and us today. I'm Jane Bullen. I'm the Managing Director of the Nutrition Network. And I'm joined today by somebody that I've felt very personally inspired by and who's had an impact on me and possibly you if you're in this community. If not, I'd certainly like to introduce you to Tia Reed. Tia, thank you so much for joining us today. So Tia is a coach that was on our first round of certification. So she's one of our most elite advanced coaches that we've got within the body of practitioners at the Nutrition Network. She did our coach certification training recently, and she's the Director of Nutritional Services, and I'm reading this off, at a local critical access hospital in her region, which is in Chester, Illinois. So Tia, thank you so much for joining us today. Tell me about the actual work that you do and what is a Director of Nutritional Services? How does it play out? What other work do you do?
Well, thank you so much for having me here in this space. I'm really excited about it. As a Director of Nutritional Services, I am in charge of the dietary department at our hospital that feeds all our patients and our staff. The work that I'm doing right now outside of that with coaching is really very satisfying for me. I love helping other people. I love talking about addiction and food addiction because it's been very, very real for me. And taking on that concept has changed my life and healed my body. Taking on and using therapeutic carbohydrate restriction, keto, low carb, high fat keto nutrition has healed my body of so many diseases. So I want to help others and get the word out as much as possible. And I'm trying to do that. And people do see out in the community, they do reach out, ask me what I'm doing. I like to do one-on-ones with people. And right now I am actually certified and licensed to perform sugar assessments, which is the sugar tool is a diagnostic tool that I have the exact wording that I want to use here. Hold on just one moment to get it right. I want to get it right. Oh gosh, help me out. It's the only one in the world that has an inherited validity from ADIS, which is validated. It'll help people figure out if they're addicted, what kind of addiction they have. Is it a harmful user? Are you addicted? Because there's different kinds of treatments, of course, to help people. So if you're addicted, you would need abstinence from the substance. Mm-hmm. In my case, I needed abstinence from carbohydrates because they were making me very sick. If you're a harmful user, you may need just moderation. So it's a great diagnostic tool to help others help themselves. And addiction is very real and it needs support. You need support for life because it is for life. So I need support lifelong, and I can help others in that area too.
So interesting, you went straight into addiction and you said, are you a food addict? So tell us a little bit about your journey of how you got to figure this out and where you came from and to where you are now.
Okay, so I was really sick. I had non-alcoholic fatty liver, type 2 diabetes, adrenal insufficiency, obesity, hypertension, you name it. I had it. It just seems, I tell people it doesn't even seem real. It seems like, how could she have so many things wrong with her? But we found Dr. Siwas, the carb addiction doc, and thought, we're going to make an appointment with him and see if he can help. And it was the best decision I ever made in my life. He asked me if I could get rid of my love affair with carbohydrates. And I was like, what are you talking about? I got to have those. Everyone needs those, right? That's what you think. But we said, let's give it a try. He did say, he mentioned the word addiction, and that was like the aha moment for me. I was like, addiction? Could this be real? And
Mm.
it is so very real. Sat down with my family. We all decided this is what we needed to do. I told them I had a sickness, same as alcohol to an alcoholic or drugs to a drug addict. And mine was food and processed foods, sugar, flour,
Mm.
grains. We got everything out of the cabinets. The kids hid their stashes and started my journey. And you know what? Non-alcoholic fatty liver was gone, one of the first things that was gone. And I was told multiple times that, it is what it is. There's a lot of people that have it. There's not much I could do about it. And it was gone within,
Sure.
I think like 6 months. Some people get rid of it in 30 days.
So, okay, so you actually, that's amazing. So you in 6 months you reversed your non-alcoholic fatty liver. You were diagnosed as a diabetic. So were you on medication at that point for your
Yes,
diabetes?
I was on, actually, I had progressed so much that I was on an insulin pump. I was on insulin pump titration, up to 160, 180 units a day via pump. And I did also give myself 50 units of Lantus at night, which
Wow.
Doc, when we started the journey, he said, if you're going to stick on this path, your medicines are going to, you're not going to need them. So we're going to like stay on task together. We're going to go through this together. And right away, he eliminated like, I
Sure.
don't know, half of the insulin. I
Wow.
was able to just eating low carb, high fat nutrition, keto nutrition, which
Incredible.
was, and then he mentioned diabetes reversal, type 2 diabetes reversal. And I had told I'd be always on my pump. So I no longer have a pump. And
Incredible.
my type 2 diabetes is in remission. I'm at a 5.2. So
Wow.
yeah,
Amazing.
and I want to tell everyone out there, if you're listening, you can do it too. You just need the courage, and you need to, be under a doctor's care, which is very important.
So
And
what was your HbA1c when you started? Because if you said
well,
5.2 HbA.
originally it was like 11 point something. By the time I had started with Doc, I had been trying to do, do better. I think it was like an 8.1, possibly when I started with him, but now it is a 5.2.
So you've brought your HbA1c down from quite severe diabetes to an absolutely low normal, which
Yes,
is
and I was
incredible.
on over 20 medications, over 20 medications. I no longer take any insulin. I no longer take metoprolol tartrate. I had 200 milligrams of that a day plus lisinopril. I don't take it anymore. It's also helped my depression. I had on Cymbalta and Wellbutrin for depression because your mind just doesn't understand,
Mm,
what's
mm,
happening. So
incredible. So you went from 20 medications to how many now?
I do not take any right now. I take some supplements. So it's a miracle.
That really is a miracle. Wow, Tia, thank you for sharing. I didn't know the extent of your journey and the fact that
Yeah.
20 medications. I mean, I'm just trying to get my head
Yeah.
around. I've
Yeah.
been through some supplement programs where I've had to take that many, but to have that kind of level of scary diagnoses and take that many medications and believe that it's for life must have just psychologically been a huge journey.
Yeah. And every time I went to a doctor, it was a new pill, on so many medications, so many cholesterol lowering medications as well. And Doc was able to, he's like, why are you on so many? I'm like, I don't know. You tell me, help me out. So
It
it
is
is
an
very important to
amazing.
be
I
under
mean,
your doctor's
I
care.
think your journey is really important actually, and just sharing it because I'm assuming that there's so many millions of others like you that have just gone through multiple rounds of medication and trying different doctors and just constantly kind of ending up on more and more medication with more and more diagnoses. And then to get to the point where actually what you now understand is that there was one root cause to it. And it was a relatively easy transition. So was it easy? And what did you have to do in terms of your lifestyle to change?
Well, first of all, admitting that I was a carbohydrate addict was the first steps, admitting that and telling all my friends and all my family so that if you had to go to other functions or family functions, you could protect yourself. So protect yourself from yourself is what Doc always told me. So, I would bring my own foods to functions to help myself, and then eventually you're an example for others, and other people are like, oh, what's she doing? They see you're getting better, and you help others. One thing that happened was my daughter had migraines quite often, and she decided to eliminate sugar and flours from her diet to see what would happen there. And she's migraine free right now. So
Wow.
there's so many, it's so bad to be insulin resistant. You need to get your body to become insulin sensitive, and insulin resistance is the root of all disease. I believe that fully after this journey.
Incredible. Wow, Tia. Thank you for sharing that.
It's
Okay, so
so
talk to us. So what made you decide? Obviously, you went from being, it sounds like a patient, but your role, you work very much in the nutritional services in healthcare. You decided to start kind of up leveling yourself. You joined the Nutrition Network. You did, in my understanding, all of our trainings. You have to be able to do the certification. So you've been through a very long journey of educating yourself and kind of becoming a practitioner and a coach. What was that decision about? Did you want to give back? What
yes,
motivated you?
yes, I was so excited to get the word out that you can change your life with nutrition. Who would have thought, after all these medications I was on, just eating properly was the key to help. I mean, I didn't even go to a doctor to lose weight. I
Mm,
wanted to get off my medications. And in the
mm,
process, the weight just came with it. So so far it's 80 pounds, and I've retained that um
yeah.
through this journey. So I know that others can do it too. Your mental clarity comes back, you can focus more. Um, it's just great. And encouraged me. He said, I think it'd be good for you to help others. And why don't you look into joining the Society of Metabolic Health Practitioners? And in order to do that, I followed the Nutrition Network path. And what an amazing journey it's been with Nutrition Network courses. They're so very exciting. You take one and you're not even finished with the first course, and you're ready for the sign up for the next. You can do it in your own time. The learning platform is it's just amazing. I can't explain it. I just encourage anyone that's wanting to help themselves. You don't even have to be going to help others, just to help yourself, to educate yourself, because knowledge is power
Wow.
and awareness is everything. And Nutrition Network will give you the tools to succeed either way. And the coaches and the leadership is just top notch, top
Wow.
notch.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Tia, for saying that. It means so much, especially coming from somebody that's had such an incredible journey. And I think
Mhm.
that's what really touched me and why I wanted to chat to you today is, obviously we sitting in what we definitely define as a crisis in healthcare and in health in the world. And what we're trying to do, and a lot of the work that we've done over the years as Nutrition Network, is to train healthcare workers. So sort of doctors, dietitians, specialists, people that are actually treating patients. And later on, what we realized what was missing was actually to train coaches and advisors. And our belief is that honestly, at the end of the day, what we need is probably tenfold the number of coaches to what we have in terms of healthcare workers and doctors, because we actually believe that that's what's needed to turn the tide. And what we're hoping to achieve is that actually people won't need to go to doctors for their diabetes. Hopefully we'll be able to stop it long before they're even diabetic. So, really interesting for me is just, how do you see the role of a coach in supporting healthcare and in sort of preventing people even needing to get into the healthcare system?
Well, it takes a multidisciplinary team. It takes a village, is what I tell everyone. And helping clients with long-term behavior change is what is vital to your success. So, if you want to see beyond your emotional eating or drinking habit, you have to understand what the habit is, right? What it is, where it come from, how it's created, because that is what your emotional eating behavior is, a habit you don't want anymore. And that came from Tracy McBeath. I just love everything about her, and her insight coaching from Nutrition Network was vital even to me today as to sticking on my path. And she
Mhm.
taught, some habits are good, like brushing your teeth, but
Mhm.
here we're talking about the ones you want to break, right?
Mhm.
So you have to understand a lot about the effort that's needed to create new roads and highways, aka habits being one that you don't want to think about. You just do it, like riding a bike. So you want to get a habit like that, to say
Mhm.
no to the garbage. And once you learn, you don't think about it, you get out on it and ride.
Mhm.
So you can gather bad habits and behaviors, negative roadways, just the same.
Mhm.
So I'm so glad that I've learned that our brain has wonderful plasticity that allows us to make new highways. So it's all about teaching your clients that it's going to take training and motivation to change your bad behaviors, because it really is the key to their long-term behavior change and success. And Nutrition Network's going to give you the tools to teach your clients. Thoughts are like clouds in the sky, Tracy always says. They pass by, and you don't have to hold on to them. You don't have to. You can overcome all the challenges with a low carb lifestyle change.
Mhm.
So all the tools that Nutrition Network gives you, to educate yourself and clients, are just amazing. You know, the difference between knowledge and awareness, as
Mhm.
knowledge is what you know and what you can learn, whereas awareness is based on your emotion and thoughts. And you need, each person's individual, so they're going to need an individualized plan, right?
Mhm.
So, you
So,
know,
so talk to us about the typical kind of clients that you see in the journey that you take them on. And for those of you, just those of you that are listening and that are signed in, please feel free to ask Tia or myself any questions. Tia's done, as I said, our most advanced coach training. So she's really a source of knowledge when it comes to coaching and to the science. For absolute sure, she really, really knows her science behind therapeutic carbohydrate restriction. So please feel free to ask anything you want to. She'll try and answer it. We'll try and answer it. Tell us a little bit about the coaching journey that you take your clients on and the kind of tools that you use.
well, I tell you, most of the people that'll come or reach out to me will say, I think I have a carb addiction. I'm pretty sure I'm addicted to food. And it's so sad, because we are challenged. We have to eat to live, right? So we're challenged several times a day. At work, there's always office parties, people's bringing in stuff for special events, so we're challenged every day, um, to eat that way. So it really is a mind game. So I try to give them the tools they need first to realize if they are addicted to sugar. Encourage them to maybe check the sugar tool, diagnostic tool,
Mhm.
to find out what treatment plan they need, moving forward. But you know, it's really fun to have the relationship with your client where they can text you if they need help battling a situation that they're in, or having them send pictures of their food and then talk about what better choices they could make. Um, I don't know. It's just very satisfying, and it's so much fun to help others. And when you're training someone and you're coaching them, um, it takes your own awareness to another level too. So
Mhm.
it helps you stay on task as well. So it's quite amazing.
So tell me a little bit about the diet that you were eating before, which we call the SAD, or I'm assuming
Yeah,
it's the
the
standard
standard
American diet.
American diet.
So
Well,
what
I
is
had
that like, and what were you eating, and what have you changed since then?
Well, I had been going to diabetic educators, and I was told to eat anything I wanted in moderation, just eat what I wanted, give myself a bolus. I had the insulin pump, I could just eat whatever I wanted. And, being a diabetic, I wanted fruit, and I was told I could eat it. So I would eat lots of fruit. I know today
Mhm.
that, if you have type 2 diabetes, you should probably stay away from fruit. It's nature's sugar, at least until you can get lined out, and maybe some moderation later with berries or whatnot. But in the beginning, don't eat the fruit. But I would start out my morning with maybe a ginormous bowl of fruit, some oatmeal, and some toast, and thinking that it was going to be the brain power, the brain food I needed for the day. Where now today, I'll eat me a nice big omelet, and my first meal might be noon. It might be 12 noon or 1 o'clock because I'm just not hungry then. I try to fast a little bit, intermittent fast a little bit, but it might be an omelet with cheese and some avocado on the side with a couple pieces of bacon or sausage. Um, so satisfying and satiating to get you through your day, and you find your mental clarity just goes up, you know?
So,
Um,
so how does it work? It's in kind of healthcare. I know you're in a position where you work with dietitians, and often there's a difference in the prescription to patients versus what one's dealing with and what has worked for you. How do you manage that dichotomy? It's not easy. I understand from so many of our colleagues. How do you do it, and what are the sort of tips that you have for others that are in similar positions?
well, my tip is to really be an advocate of your own health care and to stay on top and educate yourself as much as possible. Um, and there's new science out there all the time. So um, it's really important to reach out and get some knowledge.
Absolutely. And what needs to change in healthcare and in the diets that we are prescribing to patients currently, in your opinion?
Well, first of all, it would be nice if we could get more dietitians on board to implement low carb, high fat um, nutrition in the healthcare setting, which I don't know, we're going to have to get some more doctors on board for it to follow the guidelines. And the guidelines for therapeutic carbohydrate restriction are right there on the Society of Metabolic Health Practitioners website, where you can download them. And if you're interested, you can give that to your docs, to your diabetic educators, to your RDs, and say, hey, listen, I'm interested in eating this way to heal my body. Here's the guidelines. And everything's laid out for you right there in those guidelines. But I
That's
suggest
actually really
for
great.
anyone interested to please visit the Society of Metabolic Health Practitioners and download the clinical guidelines.
That's actually really great advice, is to take something that's quite solid in terms of a guideline document along with you. And
Oh, yeah.
And how do you think, sort of central directive around diet is going? Are things changing quick enough? Is low carb being included, certainly in the States, as part of the kind of recommended basket of treatment for diabetes? Do you think that things have turned, the tide's turned, or do we still have a lot of work to do?
We still have a lot of work to do. We need an army. We need to get as many people on board as we can with this. There's so many people like myself out there that are healing their bodies with this nutrition, and it works, and it's proven. And Nutrition Network will show you the science behind it. There's so much in the USA, Low Carb USA, Doug Reynolds and Pan Devine. You need to get on Low Carb USA. You need to get on the Society of Metabolic Health Practitioners if you live in America, and educate yourself. They have Low Carb USA conferences. They're now got a different name for it. I'm not for sure. I'm not real up on what the name is. They changed it to metabolic health, maybe conferences. I'm not for sure.
Yes.
But education is the key, and knowledge and awareness.
Yeah, and I think, just thank you again to you for sharing your story, because I think that, the science is one thing, but actually seeing the impact, the transformation. And I've known you sort of indirectly through our community for a year or so now, and I recently saw your before and after photo, and it blew me away. It was like, I cannot believe that you have personally transformed yourself to that extent through
Thank you so
simple
much.
life change. So
And you know,
just sharing your story is such a profound motivator to so many, you know.
and I didn't even feel that when I was heavier and so sick. I looked at myself and I didn't see myself like that until later when we looked at pictures and we're like, wow, mom. You know, my kids were like, wow, mom, you've
Look at
gotten
how
so much better.
that's
You know, and
amazing.
you want to go out and be with your family, and you feel so much better when you heal your body. So it affects everything. It affects, you know, it's psychological, biological, social, and spiritual. It affects everything. Addiction affects everything, every aspect of your life.
So how can people that are listening, if they want to approach you for coaching or learn more, how do they find you?
Well,
And
I'm on Instagram and I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook, and people private message me on those platforms. And you know, you can see my bio on Low Carb Healing Hub with Tracy McBeath. And I'm now listed as a sugar certification and licensed professional on Benton Johnson's addiction. Um, and you can find me on Nutrition Network. I'm excited. You can see me as a practitioner there.
amazing. So tell us a little bit about your journey. I know you've talked a little bit about the coach training that you did. What can you share for those people that are considering doing the certification? Would you recommend it? What advice do you have for them stepping into that?
Well, okay. So this program, Nutrition Network, is going to help you coach others to long-term behavior change with a proper human diet through therapeutic carbohydrate reduction. And you're going to be able to give others a choice and an option, one that I never had. So carbohydrate addiction is very real, and you can heal yourself of non-alcoholic fatty liver, obesity, type 2 diabetes, depression, migraines. Why wouldn't you want to heal yourself from those things? And this platform gives you a community of practitioners to reach out to for guidance and provide you the tools that you need to succeed as a coach. Networking, I find, is so fundamental, and it gives us the support we need to succeed. So, you know, this course is going to give you the tools you need and give you the like-minded professionals that really care. A coach, in my mind, is a personal cheerleader, a motivator, and an advocate, someone you can count on to listen to your struggles. A coach is someone to help you set goals and keep you accountable, to celebrate your victories with you and give you honest feedback. Someone that's going to inspire you and help you with long-term behavior change. And long-term behavior change occurs through connection, right? A connection with others that support you, that are like-minded, and others that have had the experience. And Nutrition Network will give you that. And I haven't even touched base with half of the stuff I learned from Nutrition Network. It's an amazing platform, and I feel very emotional talking about it because I've made so many friends, and my classmates in my class, I'm still in contact with today. I don't intend to ever lose any of those precious people. Just thank you, Nutrition Network.
Thank you so much, Tia. Thank you so much. And thank you to you for sharing so open-heartedly your journey and your challenges, and for being such an amazing advocate for this work. Really, really, as I said, so inspiring to me, and I believe to so many. So thank you so much for joining us today. It's been so lovely to just hear a little bit more about your story and your incredible journey. I made notes, 20 medications.
Yeah,
20,
this is crazy.
and HbA1c that came from 11 down to 5.2. I mean, that is extraordinary. In a world where we're told that diabetes is a terminal condition, you have backed the trends and you've shown that it's completely reversible or
And
remissible.
others can do it. Others can do it too. One meal at a time.
So thank you. And what I want to say is, to those of you that are medical professionals listening, please believe in our coaches and our advisors and work with them, because I hope that just hearing Tia's story and understanding what she said about how a coach is a personal cheerleader, of course, that's not what you can do as a doctor with your limited time, but working with a coach or an advisor and really supporting a person to change behavior is really such an important, critical part of how we're going to, I believe, turn the tide in healthcare, to take us back from sick care to healthcare. So thank you so much, everyone, and Tia, for joining us today. And we're
Thanks.
going to end the call. Goodbye.
Bye.